Aussie. So hello everybody. I'm back on, and this is in regards to my not being here on Tuesday due to specific special reasons. Anyways, I'm going to give you a few minutes to come in and leave you with a do our housekeeping and show you a little message, especially for those who don't know what we're about. And please stay tuned.
Attention Canadians, feel disconnected from our current political system? Join the Powershift to Freedom movement by the Canadian People's Union and be part of a bold vision for Canada's future. It's time to shift the political power to its rightful owners, the Canadian citizens and Indigenous peoples of Canada. Dive into our history, understand the need for change, and embark on the quest for true democracy. Are you concerned about our nation's commitment to human rights and self-governance? The Powershift to Freedom aligns with vital treaties and international laws, enabling us to claim our rightful place as collective head of state. We advocate replacing our partocracy system with a true democracy to ensure your voice counts more than party interests. When our national collective civil and political rights are respected, your influence on policies will be direct and impactful. Join us on this noble struggle to make every Canadian and Indigenous peoples a meaningful participant in our future. People 15 years old and over can sign the Convention of Consent and unite for our rights in the Constitution. Ready to be part of this transformative movement? Visit thecpu.ca for more details. Embrace the change and shape our future.
And here we go. That took forever. Forgot to unclick the button. Hello, everybody, again, for those who have arrived. And today's topic is, a really serious question because it's, how long has Canada been defrauding citizens of their personal, wealth and natural resources, meaning their income? So if people don't understand what we meant by this, their personal natural resources, income, it's your personal wealth as well. So a lot of people are trying to sell their homes right now, like the extra homes they have, and their cottages and things like that, like extra things that they save up for all their lives and they work for, thinking that they'll be able to keep most of their money in retirement. And a lot of people that don't realize this, but whether you make investments in RSPs or you have shares in a company, anything you buy and that you make money from, the government takes more than half, and it's been doing this for a long time. And they call it capital gains. Well, it makes you wonder, citizens are supposed to be working, um, you know, to be able to have a future. So when they start chopping off your pension funds, as they have done, I'll give you an example. There was pulp and paper companies who the company made arrangements with the Ontario and Quebec government, and federal government, to not pay into the employees' pension funds for 10 years. And this could not be negotiated or challenged in their agreements whenever they decide to go on strike or whatever. It was taboo. They couldn't. They couldn't do anything. So the employer's portion that they had to pay into the employees' pension funds for 10 years was to be reinvested into the company as the company saw fit. Doesn't that make you mad? So now these people are have a lot of them have retired and have a very measly pension fund because they lost 10 years of their employers being able to being having the show negotiated that they'd pay half with the employee. They'd split the bill between them and the employees, and they thought they'd have a decent retirement. And then they find out that everything they've worked for, now their cottages and everything else, hey, that's capital income. So capital gains. So the government takes more than half. I saw this with my son in regards to shares that he had in a company that he sold. And hoping to buy his home, and they took more than half. So it was like, wow, same with RSPs. And now they're trying to bring that up to 63%. And this is the big talk right now all over Canada. And what does this have to do with the Canadian People's Union, right? It has everything to do with that, because they've been stealing our natural resources since way back. And now I can show you that 67% of our natural resources goes out the door. Okay. Anyways, and it goes to private investors and other international companies. So 67% of our natural resources do not stay in Canada for Canadians, and we don't make money on that except for a very small percentage that the governments or the provinces get for in each province, and then at the federal level, it's still a small chunk if you put all that together. So the natural resources right across Canada belong to the Indigenous nations and Canadian citizens right across the board. What the Indigenous have, what we have, all of that belongs to all of us. And yet we're allowing them to give us peanuts for it instead of being able to reap the benefits of the profits being made on them. So this is why the Canadian People's Union is so important, is for us to be able to legally take back our rights as the shareholders, co-owners of the Crown of Canada, remove the bogus crown that is there, and take our place. And we can do that legally. We need to do that legally. And everybody needs to understand how to practice their civil and political, their collective civil and political rights. We have personal rights, but we also have collective rights. And the only way that we can bring about our collective rights is to unite under one thing, which is to self-determine and properly decolonize, because we were never truly finalized in our decolonization in 1982 from the UK. And even Trudeau's lawyers, Pierre Elliott Trudeau's lawyer, said so. We're still a colony, whether you like it or not. Oh, they'll say, well, no, that's old, and now they know we're independent. No. On paper, we still have King Charles sitting in our spot. So who do you want to sit in your spot? Canadians and Indigenous peoples collectively, or King Charles? Take your pick. Take your pick. Who do you want to make the money off of our natural resources? Canadian citizens and Indigenous peoples, or international corporations, the elite, who control most of it right now, and who now are taking control over our governments because our governments have abdicated their duty. Look at the license bureaus. Everything is being privatized, and it's going to be corporations who decide how much we pay eventually. The story is, if you look at public-private partnerships, they'll say, well, private corporations are more into business and they know more and blah blah blah, so they're better to run our governance. When they started running out of things to create to bring in their money, they had nothing left. So what was going to be the next industrial complex? Like, what was going to be the next big thing? Well, guess what? The management of citizens worldwide. Right? This started back in who brought us this? Brian Mulroney. Okay. And we were the first country to create laws for a World Trade Association so that the elite can take natural resources from the countries worldwide and steal it from the people. So aren't you fed up of paying through the nose for your future, your children's future, and getting a tax credit? You're getting a tax credit. Thanks for paying thousands of dollars. Now we'll give you $300 back. Hello, Canadian Tire money. You got to spend $20,000 to get $100 back. So aren't you fed up? I know I am. I'm fed up of waiting for people to wake up and to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So it's like, it's your money. It's all of our money. Whether you're a street person living on the street, that's your money going out the door while you're suffering. When the government says no or neglects veterans, that's their money. Aren't you pissed off? These people gave up everything, even their sanity, in some parts, like for Canada's safety. Well, what about the safety of Canadians and Indigenous peoples when it comes to, theft of our natural resources? The government itself is the traitor here. The government itself is the terrorist organization, defrauding us through policies, through laws that have nothing to do with the rule of law, but everything to do with rule by law in a dictatorship. That's how you dictate. That's how you do not give your citizens their rights. No political party, whether the Conservatives, whether the NDP, whether the Greens, whether the Liberals, none of them ever offered to place the people in our Constitution as the heads of state, the collective head of state. Because Canada is a corporation soul. That means one entity. And we are the entity, the collective. But right now, as it stands, it's we have to take this to court. Who's the legal sovereign by rights? Who is the legal sovereign by rights in court in Canada or anywhere in the world? Oh, but King Charles doesn't make decisions. No, the government does for King Charles. Technically, by law, our Constitution still sits in the UK for a reason. And as long as it sits in the UK, the Canada Act 1982 sits in the UK legislation, even though ours has been changed over and over, it's a draft. It's a draft for us to decide what we want in the meantime until the people take their place as the head of state. That's what was supposed to be done in 1982. It was not done. If the lawyers say, oh, though that's not true, they need to do their own research. Because in the end, the people rule. In a democracy, the people rule. And it's not by choosing a political party every 4 years that's called ruling. That's called picking your next dictator. Because political parties advance political party agendas, not the people's agenda. They can't even vote your conscience. They have to vote their own conscience. Sometimes. Other than that, 99.9% of the times they have to vote what the political party says. And who runs the political parties? But the money behind it. You think Polyev or anybody's going to care about somebody who gives them $100 here and there? You think that your voice matters then? Think about it. It's your money. None of them have ever offered to give us our rights. And this is what the Canadian People's Union stands for, is for all of us to be the final decision makers. All it is we're not destroying governance. Okay, we're just going to do it the way it's supposed to be run, by the people. And when the government wants to do something really huge, or like major decisions need to be made by the people. We need to be able to see the books by law. We have the rights to see everything, and nothing in regards to any of the purchases Canada makes for this country can be voided out, blacked out. That case has already been won in Africa. Pfizer had to declare everything. They had to give the African people their actually it was South Africa somewhere. But anyways, I did do a video on this a while back, and right now I just can't think of the place there, but they won their case. And Pfizer had to declare everything. So the Canadian government hiding behind the, oh, we lost the files, oh, we lost this, we lost that. Or we didn't take that, we don't know. We don't know. Well, if they don't know, we need to get rid of them. So, anyways, I'd like to show you something. I'm just going to try to pull it up here and see if I can. And that is, okay, capital gains, black. Okay. Oh, yeah, there we go. So in Blacklocks, okay, I just lost you guys. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to share a screen here. Okay, share a screen. There we go. Okay, so Friday, June 7, 2024, capital gains files vanished. The Department of Finance claims it has no documentation whatsoever on its selection of June 25th as the deadline to begin enforcing steep increases in the capital gains tax. Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland's department said it could not find any files or even emails regarding the deferral. You think maybe she needs to be fired immediately, and everybody that works under her as the Minister of Finance. Seriously? Aren't you fed up? So I'm going to try to get back there again. And then it says here, okay, this letter is in response to your request received April 19, 2024 under the Access of Information Act. For January 1st, 2024, all documents, records, files, and correspondence, including electronic data and communication, but excluding cabinet confidences, press clippings, and records already made public regarding the deferral of new capital gains terms to June 25th, 2024. Okay. In accordance to Section 10(1)(a) of the Act, I must inform you that after a thorough search, no records exist in the Department of Finance Canada concerning this request. So, Budget Officer Yves Giroux in April 18th testimony at the Finance Committee said he was surprised by the random June 25th enforcement date. That's surprising, to say the least, said Giroux. The cigarette tax increase came into effect immediately because it didn't want people to rush to the convenience store to buy cheaper cigarettes. However, on capital gains, we don't mind giving 2 months heads up to those who could rearrange their taxable affairs to escape the higher capital gains rates. I don't know why. Do you have any thoughts as to why that is? Asked MP Lawrence. I was as surprised as you were, replied Giroux. The Department of Finance estimated revenue from the equity tax will reach $6.9 billion this year. Collections in 2025 are forecast at half the figure, at $3.4 billion. So it makes you wonder when Freelance said, I remember doing a live stream on this, what Freelance said in regards to, I'm just going to go back here and do a stop share. There we go. When she actually said that, they had to find ways of removing monies. The Canadian people, citizens, had too much money in their bank accounts. How do we get this? Raise the taxes, capital gains. And do you know nursing homes? When you go to nursing homes, and I found this out in 2007, there was only Nova Scotia, I think. I'm going to have to recheck there, but don't take my word 100% for that. But at the time, Nova Scotia was the only province that said they will not deplete their seniors' bank accounts to pay for their seniors' homes. Nova Scotia would foot the bill for all of them. There's so much that the government pays and so much that they remove from their pension checks. Okay, that's how they pay for nursing homes. However, in the other provinces, Ontario, they will deplete your bank account before the government pays. If you own a home, if you're a couple and one of the spouses ends up in the nursing home, they'll have to sell the house so that the government can make sure that the funds for the spouse is being used, plus a portion of their pension check for their nursing home. So the other spouse has to move or buy them out. Highway robbery, you're taxed all your life. You go to work, you're taxed. Then you go and purchase to sustain yourself, food, clothing, everything else, you're taxed. You want entertainment. There's some things that aren't taxed, but most of it is taxed. You want entertainment, it's taxed. You want to build a cottage, you're going to pay taxes on everything you buy, from the nail to the shingles. Okay? And you're going to pay through the nose, because just like gas and oil, we order ours from Saudi Arabia instead of using our own and paying cheaper prices. And then we get slapped with carbon tax because international companies who own or control our natural resources are polluting, instead of Canadians coming up with better ways for everybody to be happy, reap the rewards, and have a decent life. So that's why the Canadian People's Union exists. That's why we ask everybody to sign your Citizens' Convention of Consent. Children 15 and up, because they can go to work, they become taxpayers, or at least they have to, report that, they're underage and that. But they all have a right to make decisions for their futures. So 15 and up. And when you do that, every time I speak with you, I am practicing, okay, my civil and political rights to speak to every single Canadian and Indigenous person in Canada. That's my right. And even worldwide. Because we, the people, have the political power. However, we give it away to twiddly-dee and twiddly-dum. People who look like big shots and don't seem like, they speak well, but that's a parakeet. A parrot can speak well and learn quick too. But are they smart? Like, yeah, in a roundabout way. Can they be brainwashed? Absolutely. I find that our government's totally brainwashed. Our senators, everybody. I guess you don't really need that much intelligence to be in government. I mean, there's some that I hear speak, and it's like, oh my God, who voted for these people? Do you know that the ones who don't vote, because a lot of people don't vote because what's the point? Nothing ever happens good anyway. Those people who don't vote have not given away their rights. But the government will say, oh yeah, well, if you don't vote, you don't count. Well, I'd rather be one of the ones who don't vote and don't give away my rights. But technically, we still need to vote, okay, in order to try and get better. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But voting without a plan is lunacy. And the plan isn't about, oh, who's going to save us? Who's coming to save us? And that they never do. This has been repeated since 1982 and even before that. The people need to stand in their rights. It doesn't cost anything to go online, go to the cpu.ca, sign your Citizens Convention of Consent, get everybody you know to do that, and then please support the CPU, because without that, without your full support as members and learning about what you need to do to bring about a future, what's the point? So if you're fed up, you want change, because nothing will change until we say we have the right to say no. Nothing will change till we have the right to say no legally as the shareholders, co-owners of the Crown of Canada, or not even the Crown, Canada. We are the collective sovereign entity over a corporation as human beings. Okay? Is that pseudo common law? No, that's reality. Because if you ask anybody, oh, who's King Charles? The sovereign of Canada. Legally. Not Canadian citizens. We are mere subjects of our government who has taken over for King Charles and Queen Elizabeth back then. That's reality. That's reality. And nothing in Canada will change until people start realizing this, that whether you're a lawyer or a judge, you've been sucker punched into stupidity. I was told by Mr. Party, I was asking questions. How come nobody teaches international, the fact that Canada is bound by international law right? Because if not, then it's breach of contract within the United Nations, all of the countries that signed after World War II. And whether Canada signed it or not, they're still bound by it because our human rights supersede anything. Canada is not above the law internationally. And that's why it's dangerous for them to sign. People think, oh my God, they'll sign with the World Health Organization and then we're going to be stuck. No, an intelligent person knows that the WHO cannot override our International Bill of Rights. The WHO cannot override it, period. Any new agreements being signed is non-binding other than the countries who signed it between themselves. But if they go against our our International Bill of Rights, they could get taken down. Actually, if anybody challenges it, it's not going to matter. You'll be able to challenge it. The WHO cannot override our International Bill of Rights. And this is what Israel is trying to destroy, along with the UK, Canada, the United States, France, and all of these elite puppets to try and destroy all of our rights. We need every Canadian citizen right now to get counted. And you can only get counted right now with the CPU legally. To our rights to self-determination and decolonization. There are things that people need to learn before all of these things can be challenged. And unless you learn them, you won't know what to do. No lawyers right now would really know what to do here in Canada because they'd have to go and research everything. They'd have to look at the precedents, how the UK got bitch slapped for having said, oh, we are above the law. Our laws nationally are above the law. Well, they got bitch slapped, okay, by their own judges and international law. So Canada trying to say that, or any lawyer says, oh, well, Canada is sovereign. We're a sovereign, independent country. Yes, we make decisions for ourselves, but the country that signs on to international law, okay, loses that sovereignty for what they just signed. The only ones who can charge them, though, is the other countries that they signed that contract with. This is contract law, people. Canada's in breach of their contracts under human rights with every other country in the world. And we need to be able to make our governments accountable to that, but accountable to the people first. We have zero rights unless we fight tooth and nail. That takes money, that takes resources, and that takes knowledge. We can't do it on our own. Nobody's going to come and save us unless we save ourselves. And that's every Canadian citizen and indigenous person in Canada. So I'm going to let you go with this. It's 10:33. And I will be back in French at 11 a.m., not p.m., 11 a.m. And I need you to really think long and hard about this. Please think long and hard about this because it's important. Okay? Your capital gains would be your capital gains. Why should seniors have to pay through the nose for their retirements when without them, see, seniors, they're saying, a lot of them have said that, oh, the seniors are, harmful to us and they're costly and this. Well, listen, Canada wouldn't be Canada without the seniors, okay? And they need to be respected and they need to have a peaceful, beautiful retirement. And everything they've worked hard for, they've paid taxes all their lives. They've maintained this country and they've been ripped off over and over and over and over again. Isn't it time that we fix it and make the work and the suffering they've done and the abuse they've suffered at the hands of our governments and employers, treating them like dogs? Or even, dogs are treated better, okay? And I love dogs. But cockroaches, let's use cockroaches. Everybody likes to stomp on cockroaches. But now they want you to eat them. Why? Because, ask the farmers. So anyways, that's another story. So we'll get back to you. Please join the Canadian People's Union. We are here for everybody's future. Not just us, but everybody worldwide can do this. And we're starting to make some headway in reality. As we can see, a lot of things are getting exposed worldwide. People are starting to wake up. But the most important aspect is for you to get your rights above government. We have the legal right to do so. It's time for each one of you to take action. Holding a sign, yelling, will only create exposure, but not reality. Okay? It will not change anything. Look at history. You want change? Make it happen. We'll see you at the cpu.ca. You can go there and register, become a member, and start the learning process and taking action. Thanks. We'll see you next time. And I will leave you with another little something here. Okay, just a reminder. And
dive into 2024 with the CPU's dynamic campaign, set to energize Quebec and Ontario by reaching 75,000 homes with our empowering message. Every contribution you make is pivotal, driving this ambitious initiative forward and ensuring our information lands directly in communities via Canada Post. We extend special thanks to our dedicated CPU members, whose grassroots efforts amplify our reach. This campaign is your gateway to being part of a significant movement for change. Whether you choose to donate or volunteer, your participation is key to our success. Join us in making 2024 a victorious year for collective freedom and community action with the CPU.